Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It is Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and I'm here with a Template Tuesday project. I don't know that this is going to air on Tuesday, but if you've been here a while, you know the drill. I went to a thrift store. I found these cute little envelopes. They work like this. Let me show you. I think this one should be okay. So they go like this, and they open up. And there are these two little flaps in here that you can put something in, which that's too long. We'll have to cut this down. And I kind of think it was like maybe for an invitation, an RSVP card, something like that is all I can figure. So then you would fold this part up and this part just tucks right into it. And I thought, well, those are pretty cute. Well, we should make one. So that's what we're going to do today. So what will you will need is you will need some type of X-Acto knife. You'll need some scissors. You will need some kind of sturdy paper. I'm just using a file folder, I think that will work. And I have my scoreboard out. So I think that's everything. What I did is this is one of the envelopes, and I have a tote that's in my sewing closet, and it's all of my templates. I usually write on it where the idea came from. This was thrifted from a thrift store. Then I take the original, I make a template, and then I do all of the measurements. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to put this here. Let's see. Let me make sure that it's all in camera so you can screenshot that so that you can make one of these as well. Now, let me tell you, from here to the bottom is 9.5 inches. So let's just write that down. From top to bottom, your paper is 9.5 inches, and it will be, this would have been a good thing for me to have done 5.5 inches. Well, 5.5, well, that's going to confuse me, wide. All right, now you can take a picture. Okay. So all I did is, once I drew this, so basically you can do the same thing, just cut your piece of paper at 9.5 inches and by 5.5 inches wide. If you don't have, obviously you don't have this template, you can use if you have an envelope punch or something like that, you can make those, or you can just eyeball it and make them. There's a lot of different ways that you can make this little tab. I trust that you will figure it out. It will not be hard. All right, so let me show you what this looks like. This is one I did also with a file folder. And inside of here, I just cut a piece of paper that would fit in there and not impede on that flap. So that's what we're going for. And I'm just making these so that I have some samples and that I can make these in the future. So once you get your paper, yours is going to be a little bit different than mine, obviously. I'm going to go right up to this because you don't have the original to make the original, as my kids used to say. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace around this because why not, right? And I'm just going to go right there. I'm going to cut this. This is a double piece right here, so I'll just cut against that line. Oh, I don't think did I? Yeah, I did angle these. However, and I'll show you kind of how you can do this. All right. Then we're just going to cut this out. First things first. Now, let me grab another piece of paper so I can show you Sorry, I know I'm off camera. I'm going to keep that. And we're just going to kind of round it. Round it. And then cut this sort of straight, I hope. Of course, you could use your trimmer if you want. I'm having a hard time seeing that with the glare. My glare, not yours. Of course, we'll keep that because that's amazing. This is angled. And that is angled. Okay. Now we've got our base. However, if you don't have this template, I'm going to show you quickly how you can make one. Do I have another one? Ha ha ha, I do. All right. So we're going to cut this piece. Let's go up here just a little bit. We're going to cut this at, what did I say, 5.5 inches wide first. All right, so I'm just going to, this scoreboard is also a trimmer. So I'm going to go at 5.5. Cut that, set this aside, and I'm going to go at 9.5. All right. And we're just going to cut that, put that in our scrap bin. Set this aside for a moment. And all you need to really do is, if you've got something that will make your ends here at an angle, just use that. I haven't gotten my punch board out for a long time. And I know not all of you have a punch board, so probably not something that I should show because you don't all have that. But you do all have a pair of scissors. So essentially what I'm going to do is, how come that is shorter? Didn't I say 9.5? Well, that's okay. It should, no, it's not going to be okay. Well, it will be okay on this, I think. So then all I need to do is estimate. So let's just say we're going to take 1/2 inch. So let's just cut. They're not perfect, I guess. Let's just say we're going to cut, yeah, 1/2 inch. That's 1/2 inch. And we're going to do the same on this side. I can see straight. And we're going to probably want to come in and you could make it, well, I do need to make it. Let's see if this is far enough. I'm just going to draw this. I'm going to come over just a little bit more here. I think that will work. I mean, you'll have to play with this just a little bit. And all you're going to do is cut this piece out. And curve it. You're going to curve this. I think I might have to go a little bit more. There you go. Mine's not exactly straight, but you get the gist. And then you'll follow all of the directions just like we're going to do with this one. That's all there is to it. So that's if you have nothing, honey. You got nothing. You just got scissors and something to cut with. And also, if you don't have a scoreboard, not to worry, because you can just measure and then score using, if you just have a regular trimmer, just use the gutter and your scoring tool. Mine's a stylus. right in there, okay? That's all there is to it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to score by turning this way at 5 3/4. Can you still see? Yeah, you can. Okay. Well, let's just call it what it is. We're going to turn it this way. We're going to score at 1 1/2 and 5 3/4. Let's just do it in the order in which I would do it. So, 1 1/2. So I'm just going to go right here, and I'm going to score that. And I did this twice because this is a pretty heavy, substantial piece of cardstock. It is that file folder. And then I'm going to go at 5 3/4. I'm just going to do it twice, and then that's going to give us our folds here and here. And now we need to make our tuck, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this up like this, and I know that that needs to be just a smidgy on the right and left of this. So I'm going to just put 2 tiny little dots there, okay? Leave that for the moment. Actually, if you have, like I do, because I traced. Now, once you do this once, keep that one, and then use that for your template. You know, practice maybe a couple times till you get where you want it to be. The next thing that I did is I just had to eyeball figuring out where these slits were. So in my template, what I did is I just eyeballed. How did I do that? Okay, this is the original. When I made this template, I just put this on top of it, and I took my Sharpie and drew in there so that I kind of knew about where they needed to be. That was all there was to it. So then after I did that, I did measure on here, and I was like, okay, that's 1 1/2 inches on each side where those slits should be. So I measured this, and then I wrote it down on my template so that I had it. Does that make sense? The reason I'm telling you this is if you find things like this and you want to create something out of it, then it's a good idea to kind of know what process I use, and hopefully that will be helpful so that you too can create those. So what I did is I went to the 1 1/2 mark, right? And I'm just taking my stylus, and I'm actually not okay, this worked like a dream last time. I'm not scoring, okay? Then I'm going to get about here, and I'm going to start pressing. And I'm making this one a little bit longer. Let me just pick it up so you can kind of see. Can you see that score line? All right. And then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to, at 1 1/2 again, I'm going to follow this down. And I think it's about right there. It's a little bit hard for me to see, but I think I'm about right. And I'm just going to eyeball it. And look here. I think I'm about right. Okay. Now we need to make the slit for this as well. So all you're going to do is you're going to turn your, for this one, just so you can see where you made those little dots, and you're going to cut with your X-Acto knife, because it should be on that score line. You don't need to be heavy-handed at it, just a little slit. Make sure it goes all the way through. Did mine go through? No. So just right there. Ah, I can't see. There, I can feel that it went through. There we go. There you have it. Now, one thing I wanted to try that I didn't before, because in this original, there are 2 little holes here and here. I don't think my punch will go that far. I'm pretty sure it won't. Nope, not quite. So we're not going to do that. All right, now that I have this one done, I'm just going to use these lines again, and I'm going to cut it. And you don't have to have like, they don't have to be so many inches, you know, wide, this or long. This one, after I made it, is 2 inches. So you could take this just to make sure you don't go past that 2-inch mark if you're cutting, and then just follow that down. Now you have your slits. Do I? No. I'm not being tough enough. I just didn't want to get carried away. There you go. Now you've got these 2 inches long. Now, each one of these, remember, it's curved here, so that when you put a piece of paper in, it goes in nice and neatly. For example, this one. So we need to have just a little bit of a curve on there. And all I'm going to do, I actually should use my small scissors. Let's take my scissors. I'm going to make sure that goes like that. Whoops. And I'm just going to barely curve that corner. Can you see that? And now I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Maybe. How did I do that so easily on the other one? There we go. All right, so we might have to adjust that a little bit, but now we've got this that fits right in there. Neat as a pin. You'd probably want to burnish it a little bit. And then when you open this up, now we can make our, we'll just make a piece that can go in here, okay? This, as I said, is between the two, well, no. I'm going to go at 3 1/8 and see if that will fit in there okay. Now again, you can make this whatever you want it to be. I'm just using close to what the original was. All right, now we're just going to slide this in so that it fits. Let's see, did I do that okay? I did. So I just did it at 3 1/8. Looks like I might need to cut just a smidgy more. It didn't quite come through there. There we go. Is that good? Let's make sure it fits in there, all right. And we have just created a new template, which I think these would be so fun. Now, you don't have to cut this at all if you don't want to. And just remember, you want to make sure that this part, the length part, is going to clear where that is. You could just leave this without those holes in it and then just fill it up with all kinds of goodies inside. I mean, you could do tons of things. You could make a notebook inside here. You could turn it this way and actually make it into a journal cover. So the possibilities are very, very, very endless. But in just a few minutes, we were able to create, let me move this aside so you guys can see that template again. There we go. I'm going to set it there. We created some pretty fun little envelopes, and all from something that was purchased. So don't overlook some of those things or use them all up before you maybe create a template that you can use in the future. So here we go. We've got 2 of our own and a whole stack of other ones, and we have a template that we can use in the future. Bada bing, bada boom. Now what will happen is I will keep this, and this is pretty heavy cardstock. I'll keep this template with the original. And then I'm going to take this one that I created. I'm going to pop a little paper clip on here, and I'm going to put this in my template box, and I have it forever. What do you think? Did you like that? Was it easy enough? Hopefully I explained it in a way that didn't confuse you too much. Sometimes I get carried away and I goof, but I hope you like that, and I hope that you come back again for more fun Template Tuesday type projects, and we will see you next time. Until then, remember to take time to just be. We'll see you soon. Cheers.